Hi everybody. So you might be looking at the design for the Pro6 Keyboard Skin and think, why'd you design it that way, Paul? Well, let me explain a couple of the things that I had in mind. If you've seen the previous video where I showed you all the iterations, and if you haven't, feel free to watch it. Put it on double speed if you want. It's really a director's cut of all the different design changes that I made. You'll notice that I started out with full colors on each of the keys, and really quickly it got very busy, and that meant that the full colors on the keys just did not work whatsoever. My initial plan was to have something like this skin, which is a Final Cut Pro skin, which had, one color per key. And that just didn't work because there's so many keyboard shortcuts on certain keys. So, but I did like the colors, so I left those on the modifier keys. So Command is blue, for example, Control is red. Simple primary colors. So that's why I did that, to make that very simple. You'll notice there's a lot of keys that are black, and they generally don't have much on them, or the way I thought about them is that they are unmodified. So the space bar, you don't have to hold down Control and space, you just hit space. The up and down arrows, it's no Control, Alt, Option, Shift, nothing like that. It's just up and down. So that's why that choice was made. But I did want it obvious that there were certain shortcuts on certain keys and other keys didn't have any. So if it's black, it means it either is unmodified or it has no shortcut there whatsoever. If it's white, it has a shortcut. And the shortcut color is what modifier key you need to press. So if the shortcut is blue, then you hold down the blue key, the Command key, and tap that key. So Command Q, for example, is quit. You hold down the blue key, you tap Q, there you go. I also put the symbol for the modifier key there. So the little loopy one that's on the Command key is Command. This guy that looks like the roof of a house, that's Control. The one that looks like a slant with dots, that is Option. Now the way I remember that is it looks very similar to a Hebrew Aleph, which I do have a degree from seminary, so that works for me. Don't know if it'll work for you. The upward arrow is Shift. So those are your primary ones. There's also Function, FN, and so you can use Function to get to the F keys on the top. Someone said, hey, I just turned that off immediately so I don't have to hit Function. That's true. That's a way of doing it. And if you've done that in the computer, you don't have to hit Function. But if you haven't, that's the way you access those. So that's why I did that. Someone asked why I left those on, the modifier keys, when all the shortcuts are in the appropriate color, and multi-key shortcuts are in multiple colors. Well, as it turns out, I know a few people that are colorblind. It's actually a pretty common thing, especially among guys. And like it or not, this past weekend at church we had 2 females on our team, and it was great, but it's unusual. Hopefully it won't always be like that. I think my 11-year-old is going to be a techie as well, so it won't always be like that, hopefully, but right now it is. So probably a good chunk of the people that use this might be guys, and a fairly decent chunk of guys are colorblind. Mark Zuckerberg, my mouth didn't want to work there, for example, is someone who's colorblind. So that was important to me. So that's basically why I did it the way I did it. I tried to simple it down as much as possible. I know that's not really a verb, but you get what I'm saying. So I did that, and I hope that you like my version of the Pro6 Keyboard Skin. And by all means, share the campaign on Indiegogo and see if we can't get this thing funded so that we can help more and more churches, including ones that don't even know such a thing exists yet. Until next time, this is Paul Allen Clifford. Make sure you share it. tdm.fyi/Pro6Skin.